Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Marriage Mondays. We are back. So, we are your wonderful hosts, DeAndrea and Brian Matthews. Hey there, Tanisha. Thanks for joining us. So, this evening, our topic is about quality time. So, quality time is something that couples should discuss and also couples should have. So, whether you are married or not, we hope to share some tips with you that's going to help to improve your romantic relationships. So, quality time together and quality time separate. Which one do you want to tackle first?
Together. Let's do together first.
Okay, quality time together. For quality time together, I want to think about if you and your partner don't necessarily like the same things. For example, he's into sports, he's into video games, I'm into books. I'm more of an introvert, he's more of an extrovert. Hi there, Mother Beverly.
She has her shows. Don't let her fool you. She has her shows. But yeah, we
But we
don't
still find
yeah.
quality time. We still find activities that we enjoy
Oh yeah,
doing
yeah,
together,
yeah,
other than eating, obviously.
yeah. Yeah. We have shows that we like to watch together that we make sure. I think it's about time to find because for a stretch we had a couple shows that we made sure we watched the whole series.
Yeah, and some we watched over again.
And some we started back. I think it's fun to like pick shows to watch, be it a drama show, comedy romance, whatever it is, and kind of put your own input on it. Like our show Rules of Engagement with David Spade, and being able to relate to the married couple because he was special and I'm special. And yeah, it's finding the shows or finding something to watch. Not even, and all the time it don't be about TV. Sometimes we'll find a good topic to talk about. Next thing you know, we done talked about it for a good little hour or two, and we realized like, wow, that was good conversation. So quality time could come from stem from anything. Sometimes we play two-handed spades. I mean, it all depends on what's going on and where we are.
So quality time can include date night. You should have a regular date night, and I know that that looked very different when we had young children versus now where we practically have an empty nest.
Got to have date night.
So date night is a part of quality time, but you have to decide what is acceptable. Yeah, like cooking shows. You have to decide what's acceptable for you. Like if you're the type of person that always wants to go out, then you need to let your spouse know that. So it doesn't matter whether it's the male or female, whoever it is in the relationship. If you prefer to go out and do things, your mate needs to know that. If you prefer to stay home, your mate needs to know that. It helps to know their love language.
That should be established in the beginning.
It absolutely should.
You don't want to wait till you 5-6 years in and find out that your spouse like to hang out. You be like, well, you should tell me, especially if you're home. Like what I like about both of us, we don't really have to go anywhere.
I am quite content with my introverted self at home.
I have to feel like being bothered with outside. So it's not like I just, hey, let's go. It usually has to be hey, you know what, we haven't seen such and so in a minute. Or hey, let's go get something to eat or maybe go to a movie. But we don't really have to be outside the house to have date night. Mm-hmm. So you can find it's been a couple of times I done read to her. We done pulled a book out and read a couple of chapters and had input on. So I mean, you could really find a lot to do to spend quality time with each other. Even cleaning up the room together. She'll be sitting on one side of the bed, and I see her getting ready to do her thing, and I look over there like, oh, you think you finna clean up? And oh no. So next thing you know, we done turned it into
we're competitive.
Yeah. But it's just that time. I think any time that's positive that you spend with your spouse is essential.
The point of quality time overall is making sure that their love tank is full. Whatever it is that they enjoy doing with you, whatever you can enjoy doing together, that's what you should focus on. And there has to be some compromise. For example, let's talk about movies for a second, because I know women get a bad rap especially if you like your Hallmark movies or if you like, your romantic comedies or what have you. Women get a bad rap because we tend to like all of these, lovey-dovey
What we
type
call
movies.
mushy movies.
The mushy movies, okay. And men are like, I don't really want to watch this. But as I hope he will share, there have been a couple good shows that came out of that he didn't think he would like.
Yeah, listen, that Sweet Home Alabama, that's a bad motor scooter right there. The Notebook. The Notebook is another one that it's a handful that we watched together that I had to say, okay, yeah, uh that was good. The movie where she had the baby in Walmart, that was good. That was a good movie. That was, I'm watching it. Here we
God,
go.
we done called it that. We done called it that for so
Yeah,
long.
we've
I
been
can't even
calling
think of the name of it. The Walmart baby is what we
the
call
Walmart baby. So, I mean, it's a handful of, and then same thing with me. This movie, I ain't gonna watch that. I turned her on the Mind Hunters, and she was like, "Oh, that was good."
I like psychological thrillers.
We tend to pique each other's. I know what not to watch with her, and I know, where I could put a good movie in and say, hey, make a good suggestion on the movie.
Yes, The Notebook and Sweet Home Alabama. Those
Sweet
my
Home
joint right
Alabama.
there.
What for you? What
for you want to marry me?
What for you want to marry me? So I kiss you anytime I want.
All right, Tanisha has a good question. She says, how do you find balance with ministry, family, your own personal balance? How can I balance those three when it comes to a mate? So you first have to learn how to balance that for yourself.
Right.
I think if you don't have a good handle on all of your responsibilities, time management, and more so important than time management is productivity. Just like when we talk about communication, comprehension is more important than communication. For me, productivity is more important than time management. Yes, I'm a master at time management, but aside from mastering my time, if I'm not being productive, if I'm not getting anything done within the time that I've allotted, then it doesn't make any sense. So for me, and it's not a secret how busy my life is. I work 6 days a week, and pretty much I got 4 jobs. Go ahead.
You have to have all that's cool, but if you don't have the right person, I'll give you a perfect example. I'm perfect for her because I know when she in her zone of doing busy, going, I'm cool. I'll be like, well, I'll be like, I'll see you when you finish. I know the days when she get up at 6 o'clock and she out, and I know she ain't gonna be done till like 8, 9 o'clock. I do not bother her. I do not whine and be like, we ain't. You have to have the right person who understand that. Listen, she was busy before me.
Yeah. I've been a workaholic
way before I came along.
I was 21 at least.
She was, but she had to have a person who said, hey, it's okay to exhale. It's okay to have a 6-day week, not a 7-day. It's okay to.
Right, because I did used to have a 7-day week.
Ooh, man.
But I learned about self-care and I learned about balance. But to your point, Tanisha, you have to know what you need before you get a mate.
Yeah.
So even before he and I got together, I knew what I enjoyed doing and what I'm not willing to give up. So when he came into my life, this is how my life is. And if you got a problem with it, then we need to go our separate ways now. If there's no sense in me trying to change who I am and what I do to please a man. That's not going to happen.
No, we had to understand it from the beginning. Plus, I quietly, even though I talk a lot, and I'm like to be around people. The other side of me don't mind being in my own little space. So when she doing her thing, I'm good. Like work, man. It's been times like when she be on a 2 or 3 day stretch where I'm like, hey, I haven't seen you in 72 hours, ma'am. Raise your hand or something. Yeah, like, hey, we need. Hey, so it's a understanding. I know she been busy. She had a work schedule way before I came along. It's a matter of understanding that A, she wasn't gonna change it, and B, I know she still wanted to spend time with me. It's just she was busy.
And it wasn't like Okay, now I got to fit him in my life.
No.
He knows that he's a priority in my life. Um, and he knows he's a priority in my life. We both have to be understanding around each other's schedules and the things that we like. We both can get in that zone where nothing else matters. We got tunnel vision, but we know how we are, and because we know each other.
Listen, I can only go so long without if we don't spend some type of quality time. She gonna tell me in some shape, form, or fashion that so it's an adjustment that needs to be made.
Yeah, there has to be some quality time every single week. It would be nice to have it every day, and we do have like our downtime, and we kind of share with each other.
I think we have quality
on our
time.
Lunch hour and
I
before we go to bed.
We have quality time every day. It's just it's longer on the weekend.
Right.
During the week, we kind of get it when like this is good. Usually, when she have long days, she'll plop on the bed and we'll get that hot 10 minutes of quality time in, because she'll be talking. Listen, y'all, this woman is like a toddler when she gets asleep. She'll be talking to me in mid-sentence. And, okay, come on. But then as soon as she lay down, she jump up. And so let me tell you what, man, you was just asleep. So she want to get it out. She want to get that quality. And I'm the same way, though. I got to say something to her or something before we go, even if it's just a quick, hey, so, I was watching the show. I read something. You heard about this?
We're going to talk about this in just a second. We're going to talk about that next, about having your own space, because just like quality time with one another is important, you have to have your own separate time as well. We'll get to that in just a minute. Tanisha says, now to make the marriage work, was there some type of compromise, not necessarily giving up what you were doing before he came into your life or vice versa? No, there wasn't. Fortunately, Brian is very easygoing. If I could say it like this, he doesn't require a lot.
I'm a simple man.
He's a simple man, and that makes my life so much better.
She didn't need a complicated person in her life. She didn't need a lychee. Where you going? Who is that? And it wouldn't have lasted, because she'd have been like, yeah, about that, yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah, that would have been cutting the losses.
That's chalk it up. So having a person who kind of,
you got to know what you want.
But then our personalities fit each other, though,
because we're a lot alike.
Because we
we don't like the same things, but as far as how we handle life, how we look at things, it's a lot alike.
Yeah. Listen. We know when to say, okay, enough. You've been doing too much. You've been doing too much. You've been working.
We both know how to pull each other's coattails.
Because I done had stretches.
Gone too far.
I done had stretches where I'm doing 6 days. 8 to 10 hours.
Just so you know, and, I work 6 days. He works 6 days too.
Yeah, and we'll see each other. This is how the day will go. We both get up. We both go to work. We both come home and go to bed for 6 to 8 days straight. On the 9th day, somebody be like, "Hey, I ain't seen you since." So, she don't like the miss work unless it's something really, really like it got to be. I'm the one who be like, shoot, I got to hang there. I'll tell them because we not doing. I'm not. Listen, this lady right here more important to me to a job than a job. And my boss know that, though. He knows when I say I haven't seen my wife all week, he knows like, oh, okay,
Brian. Take some time.
He know I'm finna take some PTO because that time is essential. You need that. I don't care about making the money. I don't care about getting degrees. I don't care about none of that. At the end of the day, that quality time you spend with your mate gonna override that. This is why I said we work, and we done had stretches where I remember one time we went like 2 months straight. We was working like Hebrews, and we had to like sit down one day and was like, when the last time we even sat and had a sandwich or something together? I don't remember. Oh, well, it's time for somebody to take a day off. Okay, I go.
And the other thing that we do is, I would say probably every quarter. So every 3 months, we don't just do the assessment. The assessment is a part of it. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But the other thing that we do is get away from home together.
Man, yes.
That's necessary for us to maintain our peace and to have a good relationship with
Man,
one
you
another.
got to get it.
Even though, like right now, house is quiet, house is peaceful.
Yeah.
It's not a lot going on at home. But at the same time, we have to get away from home to be able to really enjoy one another, because at home, we're looking around like, okay, what's got to be clean? What's got to be put up? What's got to be taken out? What's got to be thrown away? At home, there's always work to do. So getting away and being able to spend quality time together, again, just get in a hotel somewhere, ain't got to be far.
Nope.
So that we could just focus on one another.
That's
a necessity every quarter. Yeah. So again, knowing what you need. I need that time with my mate. I need to get away from home so that I can have some peace and not have to worry about work or church or school or anything else. So knowing what you want, knowing what you need is essential first. And then, should there have to be some compromise with the person you with? That's something you sit down and discuss and work together to figure out. It's not, well, this is my list of demands and this is their list of demands and who's going to compromise. No, we sit down and we work it out together if this is what we both want.
Right. I think also to get in the way, because getting back to the part where she says it's always something that you focusing on. There's been times we've been sitting in the room and see a pile of clothes in the corner. We be in mid-conversation, having a nice, and it don't just be her. I look and say, let me get that right quick. And we start piddling. We start straightening stuff. And it's like, what happened? Because that's how we are.
If I start, then he go start right after.
Not only that,
I start.
We don't even, you know, you can say, okay, I'm going to just clean this little area. We don't do that. We clean. Then we look, oh, that's not up. That next thing you know, whatever we was finna do for our quality time is out the window, because now we both done started. Oh, I gotta get that, and that ain't so. Yeah, sometimes you gotta say, hey, get your overnight bag. We going for a couple of days. We out.
All right, so let's talk about having your own space, and I'll get to your comment in just a second, because just as important as it is to have that time together, to bond, to build their relationship, it's also important that you have your own separate wants, needs, desires.
You need that.
And that you're spending time doing that as well. Both are extremely important for a healthy balance. I know some couples, I've known people in the past where their mate doesn't want them to spend any time alone, or they don't want their mate to spend any time alone. They want to spend every, down moment with them.
How you do that?
You have to take the other person into consideration. It ain't just about you.
I mean, but how you spend I love you, but can you go don't you got a paper to type or something?
If I'm in his face all day long, I'm gonna start picking at his ears.
And she'll find stuff like a little mama monkey. Start
I'm gonna find a bump to pop or something.
But then vice versa, when I'm in her face, then she started being like, so you just not gonna play the game. You don't got nothing. You just gonna sit right here. And so you do have the moments where you be like, okay,
can you go find something to do?
Don't the trash need to be taken out? Go do. So it's not that you don't want that person around you. It's this you
need some breathing room.
Not only that, you want time to think about and miss that person. If they always right there, how you go? You
don't have time.
You don't have time to do. You can't think about stuff like, oh, I can't wait till I see my band, because you seeing them all day. Like, I can't get. Go walk to the mailbox and come back or something. Dang, bro. So that is, but it's a balance though, because in the beginning, I would really play the game a lot, and she'd be like, okay, I get that you like playing the game, but can we get some balance? So once we got the balance and we both, like, when I want her to really be in her solo dolo time, I throw on anything on the house. HGTV. That's her go-to. And she could tell when I'm finna get ready, either go do something or finna go, want her to kind of just wind down and do her thing. Let me find something for you to watch. I don't need to watch that. Yeah, I'm about to find something for you to watch right quick. And it ended up on HD, because I know when I first met her, that was her go-to. HGTV was her soap opera. She ain't even watch regular TV. Like all day, HGTV. Okay, I'll see what you like.
A part of it is I like, if even in my downtime, I like learning something. I want to see something that will inspire me or give me, something that I didn't think about previously.
Yeah.
So
That's
even
her.
in my downtime, I need professional development.
Or Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh yeah, that's my
That was
girl.
her girl.
That's my girl.
So we both, like, she know it when if I'm watching anything on TV, it's usually sports, ESPN,
Or some
or
documentary
some
dealing
type
with
of documentary
entertainment.
that. So usually I'll be like, oh, so you know something? She like, yeah, I see what you watching, and I know not to invite her into that because she'll just be looking at me like, yeah, that's nice. Okay, I'm going to sleep now. So we have our okay, I'm gonna watch this. She'll watch. So
we got stuff we will watch together,
Yeah,
and
then
we
we
got
got
stuff we
the-
watch separately.
And it's true. Don't watch it without me, or it's gonna be a situation. Do not. If we watching something together, and I come back and say, "Oh, so I've seen episode 4," she'll just look at me like, "You really did, huh?" Oh, okay. So that's true. When you see people saying, "Don't skip ahead without your no, don't skip." Listen to
That's
me.
a problem.
Don't skip ahead. Wait. And if you did skip ahead, don't you say nothing. Don't say nothing. You gotta pretend like you don't know what's about to happen next. So when they're in shock, you gotta be in shock. Like you can't just sit there and look at them like, so you must have already
saw this, huh?
Yeah. So
So there's another aspect of quality time together that needs to be discussed, and that's vacations. And I say that because, again, all of this should be discussed before you become serious about each other. But at the same time, if one person likes camping, for example, and the other person likes, tropical sunrises on the beach, it might be a conflict when it comes to planning an ideal vacation.
That's gonna be all bad.
It's gonna be all bad because I'm so sorry, I'm not the outdoorsy type to be.
I thought I was,
but
no. I ain't really. We ain't doing no tents. I break all the rules. We get in the cabin because most people are like, oh, it ain't camping if you don't.
And the cabin is gonna have a whirlpool.
I ain't finna be on nobody's ground in no sleeping bag. You got me messed up, bro.
The other thing, if he'll admit it, is so I was a hotel snob before I met him. Well, not before I met him, but before we got back together. And
I was cheap. I thought $49.99 was hidden. And if I really felt like splurging, you might get a $70 room. What? She looked at me like, boy, I'll punch you in the forehead. Because I was like, we can get. So it was my turn to pick.
I had to introduce him.
It was my turn to pick a hotel. My cheap bug gonna say we could go to 6 people. And she looked
Motel
at me.
6,
yeah, she looked
Red
at
Roof
me
Inn.
like, nigga, you got me messed up. I was like, he got a bed. Cause listen, you gotta understand. I was that dude. I was warped by people I would listen to. So there's certain entertainers and rappers I would listen to, and you was lucky if you even got a motel room. We not doing that. I'm not spending no money on a room for a couple of hours. And here it is. I still had that same.
You hear that mindset? A couple hours.
Listen, I realized I was with.
Hey there, Charlotte.
I was with a grown woman who was like, first of all, ain't nobody having no hourly room. Let's clear that up. Let's clear that up right now. We not doing that. Second of all, I need a room with a jacuzzi and a big bathtub and an awesome shower. You got me messed up. I need a room with a bed that you can roll over in 6 times and still have space. So after that, now I'm the snob. I'm like, who finna stay in that? We not staying there, are we?
Introduced him to 2-person showers with 6 steam heads and all that.
Listen, I think everybody in life deserves to go and get a bomb hotel room. I'm talking about where you get spoiled and you got robes and slippers, and when you turn the shower on, it hit you in places that you didn't know exist. Like, oh, I didn't know water could.
Am I supposed to like
right? I'm giggling too much. You listen, when you with that person and you spending that time, you say we taking a trip. Tell them you got to go a little further than 10 miles to get. No, we got to go a little ways out. Don't be talking about no Woodward.
Yeah. So now that we're on the same page with the standard of the hotel or resort for
yeah,
lodging accommodations.
Yeah, we on point.
We
now.
all right.
Yeah. So on the sidebar, she needed some away time because she was working really hard. She was really in one of those zones where I could tell she was tired. So I said, I'm gonna get you a room, I'm gonna pick out a room for you. And she was kind of skeptical at first, like, whoo, you go pick the room. Okay. Okay. Then when she got there, she was like, oh my goodness. You did a great job.
He did good.
Because you gotta know what the other person like, and I know what she like.
And you know what he's talking about is it was a time where, you know, I had just started a new job. I was taking care of both my parents at the time, and it was just a lot going on.
Yeah.
So I did need to get away.
By herself, not me.
By myself.
I told her to pack
so he
bag.
got me a room so that I could just relax, and
don't work.
It was fabulous. It was a jacuzzi suite, and like I said, he done good. So it came a long way since that.
I know since Motel 6. Who she wanted to fight me? Wow, I'll kick you out this car.
Like I have never.
Right. That was an insult to her. Like, wait, that's awful. That's like offering somebody who used to eat filet mignon a bologna sandwich.
All right, Tanisha's got another good question. She said, "When you're both hanging out with your friends, is there a time you expect the other one to be back home?"
Can I?
Go ahead.
I go first. First of all, I don't have no friends, so that don't include me. I don't. If I ain't trying to catch up with my brothers, I don't. You know, my homeboy Carl, but he married too, so he, you know, it's kind of throwing a dart, and if we catch it, we catch it. Now her. I tell her to enjoy herself. I never tell her when, because my thing is this, you know, you married, so if you want the sun to come up on you, yeah. all we say is try it. Go ahead and let the sun be up, and I'm at the breakfast table and you trudging in. It better be some cracks, something. So I tell her to enjoy herself because she doesn't do it a lot. And her friends that she hang out with, they respect her marriage. So we good on that. I never have to say, make sure you home. First of all, she grown. I can't even imagine telling a grown person, you better be home, Mama. Yeah, that will make them be like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. You think I'm okay. So
watch this.
Yeah. You think you mad. Wait till I come in at 5. Just because you told me to be in that 12 like I'm Cinderella. Wait. No, we don't do that.
There's no particular time.
It's just respect for your marriage. Even when I do hang out with my brothers, they know. Well, see, I have my own vehicle now, so back then it was a little difficult. But now they know I dip. They right out. Wake up home. It's only 10 o'clock. Yup. Yep. I've been out long enough.
Yeah. Oh boy! Yeah, so there's not a particular time, but communication, letting the other person know that everything is good.
Hit you know, phone call. I'm here.
Ain't nobody out acting the fool.
First of all, and I'm not finna call her every hour on an hour. Like, are you still there? You still there? Where you at? Don't do that. I'll turn my phone off. And location and everything. Don't do that. We don't play them games with each other because, like, we both understand we both married, and she shouldn't have to.
And regardless of who you're with or where you are, you know, we made a covenant to one another in the presence of God. Yeah. So whether I have my ring on or not, and a lot of times, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends on what I'm doing. Like when I used to have to change diapers, and I'm not about to get.
Ooh, then you wonder why your hair spill.
So, you know, whether I have my ring on or not, whether I'm wearing jewelry or not, it doesn't determine whether I'm still married or not. I know who I made a covenant with, and I know that I'm married. Same way with him, he still knows that he's married. So we don't have those issues. We do respect each other, and like communication. Like when I'm leaving out, when I'm going somewhere, first of all, I let him know in advance what I got planned for the week, not just for that day, but I let him know what I got planned for the week. I try and tell him what my late days are that week, because I do have late days. You know, some mornings like I won't mention anything specifically, but some mornings, you know, I'm up and out the door at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. I might get back, you know, sometimes 8, 9 o'clock at night. It all depends on what's going on.
Listen, you gotta
But he knows exactly where I am and what's going on.
Not only that, because we both been with people who special. Like you can't leave out the door without them being like, hey, gotta got putting out APBs.
And you got to check in every hour.
I only been gone for 30 minutes. You call me 10 times in 30 minutes. Nah, man, I can't mess with that.
Can't get where you going and they already
They
called.
already called me. I just got here. I ain't even took my coat off yet. When you coming back? Nah. So and then our thing is this: people can only get what you give. So if you out there acting up, that's on you, not them. So
Very true.
we don't.
Excellent question, Tanisha. Keep them coming. If y'all got any more questions, go right ahead. Charlotte, I'm not dealing with you talking about mini vacation at the Red Roof Inn. Not at all.
I know, right? With you got to go to the store and buy your own continental breakfast. Man, she would be mad at me. I'll be right back. I'm going to get us. She think I'm going to the hotel lobby. I went to Kmart, went to Kroger. Yeah. Got a breakfast tray. Boy, she is not buying that. Boy.
Yes. So both are good. And for those of you just joining us, we're just talking about quality time. We talked about quality time together, the types of things that you can do together. And so I want to also add this. It is not necessary to spend a whole lot of money to show somebody you care or to spend time together. There are a lot of wonderful things that you can do for free.
Like look at each other. You know the test. Listen to me. And people think this is. If you really want to know if you like spending time with this person, turn the TV off, turn the music, everything off, and just hold each other's hands and see how long you could like gaze at each other. When you start getting fidgety and you don't really want to do it.
I love AARP discounts, Ma.
You know it. And she couldn't wait for me to get my card, but she was rushing to. Ain't you about to turn 50? We need a car. Now, hey, but guess who about to get their own?
Look, I had my own for a few years now. What, at least 3-4 years?
Yeah, because why?
Because of you.
Yeah, you better tell it.
Because of my old man.
Hey, right. Oh, so I gotta share this story, y'all. So we was on vacation. I don't know where we were, but we was definitely. Oh.
Yes, just for you, that's perfect. Absolutely. If that's where you are and that's within your budget, absolutely. The Red Roof Inn.
Oh yeah,
do what you gotta do to get your quality time. Indeed.
Just check the mattress. Take some Lysol.
We're not gonna tell no stories about experiences.
No, listen, so I had let my grade grow in a little bit, and me and the honey was in the store, and the man behind the counter, I wanted to just punch him in the forehead because he gonna say, "Oh, I see you like him young."
All I did was giggle because I'm not that much younger than him, but it was funny.
It was funny, but it should not at that moment because all his was great. I'm like, wow.
He was great. I'm looking fine as ever.
I was like, wow. He said, "Oh, I see you like him young." So that quality time was, yeah.
He had an attitude that night.
I when her immediately started saying, "You." But quality time it's an awesome thing. When you spend time with that person, you being vulnerable and you exposing yourself to them, and you talking about intimate things that you don't talk.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to have the lobster dinner. By the way, I don't like lobster. You don't have to have the lobster dinner. You don't have to spend, a couple $100 or a couple $1,000. Simple things like walking on the beach holding hands, or one of our best memories is when we were in Puerto Rico for our honeymoon. I'm sorry, my hands are cold. We were in Puerto Rico for our honeymoon, and of course we had the suite overlooking the water, and waking up.
Oh man!
With the sunrise coming in off the balcony, just absolutely amazing. Having those type of memories together, creating those type of memories.
That song on the ocean has such a different. Seeing that, man, that tore me up. I think everybody should experience that at least once in their life. I mean, certain things as even not just married or being in a relationship, but even single people. It's certain things in life you should experience at least once. At least once. Going on a cruise. I can tell my friends at work, man, at least once in your life go on a cruise.
That was the first time that he told me no. I wanted to go on a cruise. It was on my bucket list. And I'm like, "Ooh, let's go on a cruise." And he said no.
And she turned into a 3-year-old.
I did. I'm not accustomed to hearing no.
What
And
we
within
need
48
to
hours,
do?
he changed his mind. And he's so glad he did because we had a wonderful time.
Yeah,
Pre-COVID.
nobody wanted to do nothing when we came back home for about 3 days.
No, I wanted Garcon to bring me my food.
I'm snapping my fingers like, ain't nobody coming.
It was wonderful.
It was awesome. I think, yes, I mean, just once in life.
It's important to get outside of your normal environment, whatever that is.
It's awesome.
It's important to get outside that normal environment, even if it's just the two of you, so that you can see things together differently.
You want to have memories besides the neighborhood.
Yes. Know where you want to go, definitely. Italy, fabulous. I'm not going to talk about that because my feelings still a little bit hurt. I had tickets and my plane fare and everything was together to go to Italy. I was going to be in Milan, Italy for my birthday in 2020, and COVID hit.
COVID was like,
so yeah, I still want to go to Italy too, Tanisha.
Ain't nobody going nowhere. Ain't nobody punking. No, I'm still trying to get her. Mommy, you still on here? Give me a yes if you still on here, Mom.
We're not talking about that sunrise experience, Charlotte. I'm just let it speak for itself.
What?
Look, we all got stories to tell.
Not that one. I don't know about that.
No. Now he trying to get.
No, because I looked like I was too far back. I was going.
What other questions do you have as we're talking about quality time? We talked about, I'm still on there. We talked about quality time together. We talked about quality time separate, spending time with your own friends, family, or what have you.
I don't know about your own friends, family. You mean your own friends in your family? Because I ain't. Yeah. You already know. Yeah, I love them, but they can stay over there, them peoples. What?
I ain't got nothing to say.
What?
I'm very fortunate. I'll say it like that. I'm very fortunate because I have a crew of folks that we go way back. I have friends that I've been close to for almost 40 years. I have friends I've been close with for the last 25 years, and I have other friends I've been close with for the last 15 years. And when we get together, it is a riot. We have a good time.
You better. Mm-hmm. If you come back and be like, man, no, we finna go out and do it all over again. Come back. There's no way you. If I have, the problem with me is I don't like people like that. I realized it. I'm not mad that I don't have friends from back in the day because they probably irritated me. And most people who know me only know me for two reasons. And only one I'm gonna admit to is basketball. So most dudes who talk me, I know, yeah. They be like, I know you from somewhere, hooping. That's only because that's it. And all my friends, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. All my friends. I had to make new friends because they was bad influences. They were the dudes I was hanging around was not trying to be positive. They always had a scheme, a mask and a gun scheme. No, I'm not hanging around y'all. I just want to live. I took her. Listen, so do you remember this? So I hadn't been in Highland Park in a minute. I said, hey, let's go over here and see some of my partners. She drove by that house and was like, that's where you be hanging out. Like, so that was, I had to make a business decision. Like, yeah, I probably know nah, I'm good.
Mom said people she grew up with either dead or got Alzheimer's.
Mom, you was born in the 30s. Yeah, your friends at least 60 and up.
We got some things in common because too many of the folks. That's all I'm saying. Life is short.
If it wasn't for Facebook, I wouldn't know nothing about none of the middle school kids. It's a handful of people that I still know that's alive from middle school. I don't know nobody alive from elementary school. Maybe one or two. And forget about high school. I don't even know what that is.
Tanisha says any marriage retreats. Interestingly enough, so retreat is in the future, but I definitely think there's going to be a marriage event before the end of the year. What that looks
It is?
like, it is.
You sure?
Yes,
I'm included.
yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm the logistics person. So
We need to
retreat,
recon.
no. Well, not yet. I'll say not yet for retreat, because a retreat has a very different connotation
Right.
than.
Just going
Um,
out and
so one of the things I did today, because this is just who I am, I'm a process person. I actually made a list of the differences between a seminar, a forum, a workshop, a conference, a retreat. It's a list of about 10 different events, if you could put it like that. So when it comes to a retreat, retreat looks very different. I think you have to build up to a retreat. And we're not ready for a retreat just yet, as far as, our online family. I'll say it like that. But there definitely will be a marriage or relationship event.
let me
I'll say it
comment
like
on what
that.
Mama said right quick.
All right. Some of my friends from Shaw College still living good.
Mama, really? They gotta be dusty.
Have we attended? So, Tanisha, are you saying that have we attended a marriage retreat together? We have not attended a marriage retreat
Because we don't
together.
like people like that.
Hush.
She don't be want to be listen, we cool, but I don't if I don't know you like that, it has to be people we know. For real.
Um,
Like it has to, I'm not just going because somebody say, hey, let's go. No.
I've attended. Okay, but if you start doing a marriage retreat, don't leave the single people. No, and that's why I said marriage or relationship retreat, because even though it's called Marriage Mondays, the information we give during Marriage Mondays, it's not just for married
Yeah,
people.
everybody can
It's
get it.
information that anybody could utilize and learn from. So that's why I said marriage or relationship, because depending on what the goals are, depending on who the audience is, you know, it doesn't have to be limited
No.
to either married or single or searching or whatever you want to say.
Right.
But no, that's why a lot of thought before I do anything, it's got to be ordained by God, and a lot of thought and planning goes into it to make sure that it's
She
successful.
mean
So
before we do anything.
yes,
Sometimes she still thinks she's single mentally.
no, it's just that's how I process things, and I know that by the time I
Now,
process it and share it with you,
look,
either it
she
gets the stamp of
she
approval or
used to
not.
being with people who just sit there, don't talk. You know how Jody said at the beginning of that song, don't talk, just listen. And she was with those. We all been with that type of person where you know what, be cool, don't even. Shh, you just sit there. And then here I come, and God can halfway hold the conversation. She like, wow, he could put sense together. That's awesome. He know when to use a period and a comma. That's nice. He don't talk in one whole sentence. That's awesome. Then I'm looking at her like, wow, she really can think about something besides nothing. That's all right. So you run into a person who make you want to spend quality time. Because there's some people you be like, you know what? If we spend time, we do. If we don't, I'm not gonna miss it. But with her, it's like, okay, it's been a couple of days. We ain't said nothing to each other. Or we ain't, not that we not talking to each other. This time be so 8 hours, man. 8 to 10 hours go by so fast. You
And
look up,
because our
man.
schedules
Ooh,
are at different times,
man.
because he's leaving out the door at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And
And
by the time I come in,
I'm
he's
asleep
asleep.
because my body be like, and then I try to stay up for it, like I'm gonna stay up. My body be like, no, you going to sleep. That's why my mom always hear me say when she called me, I'm taking my old man nap. And then the weekends go so fast. Oh my gosh. So she worked 6.5 days a week because she still work on Sunday. She don't think I'll be noticing. But it is what it is. We get it in when we can. That quality time is important. At first, I ain't gonna lie. When I first came around, it didn't make me a difference if we spent time together.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
if it wasn't a specific kind of quality time. But now I need at least being in the presence of her, and she gotta say something. It used to be where okay, she in the room. Now it's like you in the room. Now I'll be the one like, so you ain't saying nothing.
So quality time should take into consideration what your love languages are, because it just so happens that his love language is, well, one of his love languages is quality time. So as long as I'm there, I could be doing whatever, but as long as I'm there in the room with him, he's good.
I'm good.
That wouldn't work for me.
Yes, it would, because it's sometimes when she doing whatever she doing, and I listen. When she get in her zone, when she either writing or reading or cleaning up whatever, she don't even know if I'm in the room or not. I got to be like, I'm over here, babe. Oh, okay, I see you over there. Because she be gone. And I chuckle sometimes because this is the same person who say, oh, I don't like just sitting there. She can do it. It depends on what she's doing.
It depends on where I am.
If she in that zone,
what percentage my love tank is on. So
she on. And if we ask each other that, you have to ask your mate, where are they? And
that's a part of the assessment that we said we get back to.
You got to know that because each level is sometimes different. One might be extremely high, one might be extremely low, one might be okay.
So we got to back it up just a little bit because we said we talk about the assessment, and the assessment is something we do about 4 times a year. We actually have a list of questions that we ask each other.
I didn't sign up for this, but I'm married now.
I realized very recently that I'm a process person, so I have to, go through things in a logistical manner.
Yes, she does.
So that's how I handle things. And there's actually a list, and it's a part of what we will eventually share in our book for couples. But it's a list that we go through with each other to kind of make sure we're good in each of those categories. So you do need to make sure that we refer to it as the love tank. That's probably primary for a relationship, but you want to make sure their love tank is, stays above 50%.
Yeah.
The closer to 80%, the better you are, but definitely above 50%.
Yeah.
You also want to do, pay attention to the love tank, pay attention to, other things like my spiritual tank. If my spiritual tank is low, then every other tank just bottomed out.
It don't matter what nothing else is. If our spiritual tank, because since we understand the whole spiritual battle thing, we understand that it's not about the flesh and blood part of it. We both like to make sure our spiritual tank is good. Because if you think about it, if your spiritual tank off and nothing else gonna be on, you don't care about loving nobody, you don't care about none of that because you're trying to figure out what's going on with you. And if the person you with don't peep it and say, hey, let's get in some prayer, some word, turn on something to get it back up, is you in for a long week. Trust me.
So I gotta answer this for Charlotte. She says, during your quality time, do you share penguin stories or stories about other animals? I don't talk about the animals that often. The only time where I think I talked about the animals, giraffes. Those are my babies.
She is a giraffe.
I'm a big giraffe girl.
She talk about horses.
Yeah. So I like animals, but we don't often talk about animals. If something's going on and I had an animal experience, then he might hear about it on our lunchtime phone call. But
she don't usually talk about the zoo too much. That's kind of like talking about work.
Because most of it is business focused. I'm focused on the business aspect of it. If I need some downtime, then I'll go and I'll visit the animals. But, it need to be warm outside. I am not for the cold weather. So it's got to be warm outside for me to go visit the animals. But good question, good point. What other questions you have? We got a few minutes left. We're talking about quality time today. We've talked about quality time together, what that looks like at home, what that looks like on date night, what that looks like during vacations, and what it means to have, you keep saying vacations, and what it means to have quality time separately. You do need that time away from each other. And sometimes it is with friends and you go out and you have a good time. And then other times it's by yourself.
I think she should go out with her friends more often because if I ain't going to lie, for a minute she wasn't doing it.
Yeah, I have to make sure that I'm scheduling that time with my girls.
Like, look, you was friends with them for a long time. Don't don't let nobody come in your life and mess that. No, be them your girls. That's your squad. That's like if I had a squad of dudes. Sometimes I ain't gonna even trip. If I wish me and my brothers could be like that, where we could just clear a day and just go hang out, and it just don't work like that because I got an old brother. He old already. He old. He younger than me, but he older than me. That's a whole shame. And I like that she had friends that she can call and say, "Hey, let's go." And it don't be all of them together all the times. You know, like she might hook up with one or another. But when she get the squad together, I'll be like, "I'll see you in a couple of days because they kidnapping you. Y'all finna hang out." So that's cool. Go ahead, go because I know she need that.
Tanisha's got another question. She says, "Do you recommend couples, and even after being married, to start or continue with marriage counseling?" Um, Good question, and I'll answer it like this. I believe that premarital counseling is a requirement. For example, I'm not marrying anybody who has not had at least 6 sessions of premarital counseling. And each of those 6 sessions is planned out because I'm a process person. So each one has a different topic and different things to cover. I think the premarital counseling is essential. I think that you should continue to have some type of mentoring when it comes to um, at once you get married. Mentoring, I think, is necessary. Counseling is an option. You know, it depends on you, it depends on your needs, but you definitely need to have some type of engagement, definitely need to have some type of mentoring. And depending on how you came into the relationship, I'm going to say it like this: you might need individual counseling more so than marriage counseling. A lot of times people come into relationships and they are not healed. So if you are not healed and you still have some baggage, you still got some, emotional wounds that you got to deal with, then you need to prioritize your individual counseling because that's going to be key to making sure you stay healthy and whole, and then you can bring a better version of you into the relationship itself. What say you?
Whatever what you just said. My mama had a question.
All right. Oh, we. Mom Beverly says, "Do you like rubbing on each other?" My husband likes me to rub his head. Yes.
She likes me to do
So
that. Scratch her scalp. Oh man, if I really want her to like be cool, like that's
it's
what I want
like
her to be
it's
cool.
like a sedative. So when I'm off screen, when it's when I come in and that's it for the night, I take this little band off my head and just let my hair go. A lot of times I end up getting called Goku for those you
Yo,
90s
cool.
that watch that show. But and he'll massage my scalp and oh my goodness.
She like that's me now. You tell her
It
put me to
feels so
sleep.
fabulous. So yes, we do like rubbing on each other.
Mine is if she's picking with my ear, like if it's something in my ear. You can't. You gotta do the other one. You know, see the other one jealous.
Right, right, right.
So
Tanisha
yeah, we.
says she agrees that counseling for oneself is a plus, definitely. Um, and this whole, I'm so glad that people are focusing on self care nowadays because, it's essential. Not just having that downtime, not just having that day of rest or whatever you want to call it, but self care also includes taking care of you. And if that means going to a therapist, a counselor, whoever it is, get you somebody to talk to and work through your
You
issues.
can always talk to yourself. No, I'm just
Yeah, so many questions wisdom, after the fact, we know the questions we should have asked. But like
man.
she said, she wish she had been wiser with the last marriage because her husband could not even read. There's so many things, like I said, stories we could tell. But yeah, you know, I'll say that as well because even though Brian and I both have had multiple marriages, and that might be frowned upon in certain circles,
Yeah.
there's so much wisdom that comes from having done it wrong.
That's why we don't
And
argue. Because the first two marriages was like, yeah, no.
so, even though, like I said, it can be frowned upon in certain circles and all the rest of that, that's fine.
I don't
But
care what
there's
people
so
think.
much that I have learned as a result of those relationships. And there's so much more that I could share with somebody. In an ideal world, yes, it would be great to have, married your high school sweetheart and y'all been together for 40 odd years. That would be beautiful. And that's some people's story, but that ain't my story. And even though you can learn something from those people, there's a lot more that you can learn from people who did it wrong, because everybody's not going to have a perfect relationship. Everybody's not going to get it right. The first time. Some people going to have to deal with the counterfeit.
Ask Elizabeth Taylor.
That's a whole nother
story. She ain't get it right the first 6 times.
Some of us had to deal with the counterfeit. We had to figure out, what to watch out for, what to look out for, what to be aware of, what to warn other people about, because you've been through it. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
It be so many red flags, man. Them emotions get caught up.
No, we don't be thinking about literacy.
No, right. You don't be like, I wonder can he or she read. You don't. No, them not the questions you ask.
Especially when we're young, we got such other things on our mind. We don't be thinking about.
We always want to ask the dumb questions like, "What's your favorite color?" Like that's gonna matter 20 years from now.
Because your color gonna change.
Right? You ain't gonna care about that.
Yes.
What's your favorite food? You ain't gonna be able to eat it in your 50s because your teeth gonna be bad. So don't. We ask the dumbest questions when we young. We do. We don't ask the. Just think if you would have asked him, can you read? That would have stopped the whole lot. We don't ask smart questions. We don't. Y'all are absolutely right. When we kids, we ask kid questions.
Which is why, going back to the question about the retreat, if we ever have a retreat, you got to have people from different generations.
Yeah.
Because you look at life completely different. Like the things that I thought about, before I considered getting married this time,
you don't think about
I would not have thought about. In my 20s or in my 30s. Are you serious? Not at all.
Your mindset ain't even the same from a teenager to by the time you get in your 30s. If it is, it's a problem. If you still thinking the same way you did at 16, 17, 18, and you in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, it's a problem. You definitely need therapy. Because you still thinking that's cute.
Therapy is your friend.
Yeah, you think that's cute.
Oops, she said she was 37. I'm not touching that.
I'm not messing with that.
I love you, Charlotte.
Yeah. Oh, baby. We didn't know.
We know now.
We know now. Like, oh.
So those of you that's still single, add that to your list.
Ask the right question. Man. Wow.
All right. Yes. Well, we have had a wonderful time.
On that note, we are fairly close.
We had a wonderful time sharing with you this evening. So if you came in a little bit later, we talked about quality time together, quality time separately, and you can go back and watch the replay.
Important.
Leave some comments. Let us know
how
you enjoy Marriage Mondays. Again, it's not just for married couples. We're just sharing life raw and uncut. So if you have some questions, let us know. If you got some topics you want us to address in the future, let us know. Otherwise, we will see you next Monday for another Marriage Monday. Take care, everyone. Good night.